How's breakfast? Do you think you're gonna come out with us this morning? Day 3 of this nor'easter. Not pretty. Flagpole's still hanging in there. I think all people want to know is how much snow are we gonna get? Listening to Chuck Nolan and Danielle and Tyler on the radio, and they're talking about this person that was dropped off from a spaceship into the water east of Martha's Vineyard and had to be plucked from the water by the Coast Guard. I could say, E.T. has landed, and you'd say, so what, Tim? You said you were gonna talk about snow. How much snow is going to fall in New England over the next 60 hours? What? Forget the fact that I've never seen a nor'easter behave like this. Forget the fact that we're having a record rainfall here and there's record rainfall in Utah. And it's day 3 of a 3-day nor'easter. And forget the fact that maybe there's a T-Rex triple hop in the forecast. Can we get a 1 and a 2 and a 3? Yes, we can. And let's go, Rex. Nope, this way. When you say there's snow in the forecast, that gets a lot of clicks. Hey, it might snow in New England on the heels of this day 3 of a 3-day nor'easter on day 4. So why don't we just show the snowfall accumulation map? All right, here we go. There's nothing there, TK. I don't see anything. Oh, wait. Clock is in the upper left. See it changing from Tuesday to Wednesday. Now see those little gray spots? That is the NAM 3K high-res saying it is going to snow at the top of Mount Mansfield and at the top of Jay Peak tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. And in the Mount Washington area, it's actually going to accumulate a couple of inches. And if you go to Baxter State Park, Mount Katahdin, and you stop it there at the end of this, it's 2 p.m. on Thursday, and you focus in on Mount Katahdin, and it says 14 inches of snow in the forecast for the next 60 hours in New England. Okay, that's it. We're done. You can go back indoors now, Steve. No, I'm kidding. Come on, Steve. Let's go out. Steve, come on. I'm not going to put you on a line. What's that? I think I hear a fire alarm beeping. Go, Steve. I'm giving... No, Steve is not coming. All right, we're going to close the door. T-Rex is out here, and this is day 3 of the nor'easter. And now, let's get serious. I am serious. That was a real forecast I just showed. Any boats on the beach? Let's take attendance. I see that the docks are still secure. They're not going up and down as much as they were a couple days ago. Yesterday, Tim, yesterday. And let's count out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No boats on our beach. I heard a couple of more boats broke off on Martha's Vineyard yesterday, but the tomatoes, there are a few tomatoes on the ground, and the heat, it did not come on in the house, so I'm verifying forecasts I made a couple of days ago, but we do have the gas fireplace on. Somehow we're still in the 60s, and all I did was lose the crow on the top of the flag. Otherwise, no damage around my house. 3 days ago, Doug Kent said, what do you think the maximum wind gust is going to be in this storm? And I thought for about a millisecond. Doug grew up right here, and I said 47 miles per hour. And little humble brag here. Yesterday, the wind gust at Logan Airport, which is right over there, was 47 miles per hour. Wow, that's pretty cool. So what's the top end of the rainfall, you think? Oh, it could be near 6 inches. So now let's go to the rainfall verification. And this adds up to 3 days where it was still raining on Cape Cod and southeastern Massachusetts and obviously here in Weymouth. And we see 5.9 something in Carver, Massachusetts was in the lead, but not behind was Truro, closing in on 5.9 also. And in Carver, I think the rain let up, but in Truro, the day started with thunderstorms. This is such an unusual storm in so many aspects. I'm not saying the thunder is unusual. I'm going to let T-Rex go in and continue this. All right, Rex, you can go in. Just Steve there. Steve's over there kind of chilling. All right, so here's the view from space, the wide shot. And you have the circulation of the storm across all of New England. And you see some towering cumulonimbus there over the water. Again, south of Long Island, south of Cape Cod. And in the upper left, there's a new cold front coming out. All right, T-Rex is inside. Steve, you want to come out? I didn't think so. My camera just shut itself off again. Where was I? I should probably just stand here out of the rain to be safe. It's 55 degrees here, pushing 10 a.m., day 3 of the nor'easter. And I was talking about the view from space, or I was about to talk about the view from space, as the circulation now south of New England is going to sit there and spin for another day. It's not going to stop raining on Cape Cod till late in the day, and you got a front coming in out of Canada, and those are the heavier clouds coming in from the north and west. And if you look at the very close-up of southern New England, and I got this about 9 o'clock, and you can see a real heavy cloud, very dark morning on Cape Cod with a 30,000-foot tall towering cumulonimbus thunderstorm on the national seashore this morning with torrential rains. So no doubt we're going to pass 6 inches of rain in Truro. So the wind yesterday gusted all day past 50 miles an hour on the dune in Truro. So this is it's a top-notch nor'easter, but you know what's really unusual about it? It's not getting north of the benchmark. In meteorology, we call 40 degrees north, 70 degrees west the benchmark. Latitude and longitude there, southeast of Nantucket. And our worst storms are often benchmark storms, often that stall, like the blizzard of 78. I call it the blizzard loop. The low pressure center did a loop down there, and then it took off to the north and east. But this storm is not taking off to the north and east, and it's not even, the low pressure center is not even getting north of the benchmark. Here is the analysis from this morning. I haven't even got to the storms in the west yet. Massive storms on the west coast are going to influence our weather. But if you focus in here in the northeast, it's now a weakening 1022 high pressure system north of Maine. It's kind of stalled out there. And our low pressure system is 1,004 millibar low, and it's weakening. And this system is sinking south. So here, for the first time in my life, as far as I know, we're getting a nor'easter where the low pressure center does not even get north of 40 degrees north. So that is amazing to me, and it has to do with the Greenland Block. Let's go to that graphic I show from the Climate Prediction Center. It's called the North Atlantic Oscillation, and if it's a positive oscillation, things are usually moving fairly quickly across North America out into the Atlantic Ocean over to Europe. But when it's called the negative oscillation and you get blocking up near Greenland, the Greenland Block, this thing goes negative, and it's forecast to go to a minus 1.5 negative North Atlantic oscillation, and that is steep, and that is causing some weird things to happen in the atmosphere, sort of contorted atmosphere. If I show the really big picture from the Pacific to the Atlantic, I call it a parade of serpentines, with the storms marching across the Pacific and then slowing down into North America, with one deepening now in Southern California. Los Angeles has a winter storm warning for the high country north of the LA basin, and I don't have time to focus on all that. And then we shift over toward the Atlantic Ocean, and you get our storm, and you have the storm east of Newfoundland, which is a non-tropical storm, and then you got Lorenzo, tropical storm way down there in the south. And the storm tracks, look at Lorenzo's hook it is supposed to pull there. It's supposed to kind of loop in circles and decay south of the Azores. And if I change the map to the Ocean Prediction Center, OPC, Atlantic Ocean, look at the low right in the middle of the Atlantic, and it shows the arrow pointed towards the south and southwest. That low has hit the block, and it has stopped in its tracks, and it's going to sort of retrograde, sink south. And the storm that's south of New England is only forecast to slowly move towards the south, and then east, and then north. Ultimately, maybe by Friday, this system to our south does get north of 40 degrees north. But this is just a really crazy, contorted, utterly captivating weather map and pattern. Why is it not going north, Tim? Why is it not going north? Well, it has to do with the upper level steering currents. You want to see some contortion? We're going to go to the upper level steering currents now at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. You can call it the jet stream, where you see the purple and the yellows. That's the jet stream, but otherwise we call this the steering currents. And we have a couple of cutoff low pressure systems high in the sky. Think of them as rotaries in the sky. One over the southwest with a powerful storm coming in off the Pacific Ocean, and the other one kind of just falling apart here over New England and to our south. And you have ridging in the middle. It looks like the letter omega. Sometimes we call it an omega block, but this one's fairly transient because of the power of the Pacific storms. We are going to lose our upper level low, and you see a ridge trying to come at us. The flow from Canada does really increase here over the next 60 hours, but then it too, along with the old upper level low to our south, is going to take off, and we briefly get into the ridging here on the weekend, and we may have a 70 to 75 degree day there on Sunday before the next blast and cutoff low comes across the Great Lakes and into New England, and that's next Monday into Tuesday. A sharp front, a lot of rain, and maybe a little bit more snow with that one next Monday, Tuesday. And then I'm going to stop this on Wednesday. Freeze frame. And what do you see? I see the face of our future winter. One eye near North Dakota, another eye just east of Maine, and a sneering nose and mouth over the Gulf of Mexico, America. And that is a mean-looking sneer in the jet stream, and I think this portends a very interesting winter. That is the upper level flow, and there's so much to go along with that. Now, the way that I discovered that it was supposed to snow in New England was by accident. I looked at a couple of things, the map I showed earlier, and then I fast-forwarded to the Weather Prediction Center map for Thursday morning, and I saw that blue there in Maine. You have a major storm off to our west, and you got a cold front having come through here, and high pressure is pushing colder air into eastern New England with some blue in Maine and some green near Cape Cod for some instability precipitation. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near 14 inches of snow in Mount Katahdin. That was just fun to show. I found it by accident. When I was really looking for was to see when the rain was going to end on Cape Cod, and kind of going backwards now. Let's do that. Let's check the rain forecasts. This is the future radar, we call it, on the NAM, and you see the training storms continuing today on the Cape Cod National Seashore and right up and down Route 6. Just amazing how Cape Cod, storm after storm after storm, is getting so much more rain than the rest of New England. This is exactly opposite of the first 61 years of my life. Very unusual pattern, and it finally lets up there tonight. Clock again in the upper left, and then tomorrow you have that green spots in central and northern New England. That's the cold front coming through here. You don't see any blue, so the future radar doesn't even show any snow, even though the NAM, same model, same exact model, is trying to tell us there's going to be 14 inches of snow. Anyhow, that rain is gone, and we get dry weather coming in here with the storm mostly staying at sea, we think, next Thursday, or this Thursday. That's only 2 days now, Tim, and Friday. Our storm is going to still be kind of going in circles out well to our east, but again, the parade of storms off the Pacific is going to overwhelm us. Okay, so I don't want to take up all your day here, so why don't we just go now to the Euro, and my favorite part, and thing I look forward to seeing every morning is, what's the new guidance say? Well, the new guidance doesn't show too many changes, but it shows a lot of high stakes potential storm systems from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean and running into the block. Like I said before, there's a winter storm warning for the mountains of California. That low in the lower left there is going to kind of try and drive warmer air to the east, but here in the northeast we have this high pressure system and that 540 line coming in here on Thursday with some precipitation there from Maine to Cape Cod, otherwise just windy and turning colder with the temperatures only in the 50s on Thursday. And then Friday morning with that high right over us, there'll be a freeze and a frost around here as another storm. The storm from California goes in through the Great Lakes and goes into central Canada. And look at it. It just kind of stalls there and stops. And you have another feed coming out of Texas, and we're going to have cyclogenesis over, it looks like, the Ohio Valley, rapidly intensifying storm on Sunday, pushing warm air into New England, only briefly, 564 to 570 thickness before oh my goodness, I was talking about the weather maps, and my camera paused. And when I talk about my weather maps, I have my eyes closed, so I did not realize that my camera had paused. So I don't know how far I got. Just in case, I'm going to take it back to about next weekend, where I was talking about how there was going to be a major storm coming across the country and going into Canada and stalling. And then we're going to have cyclogenesis over Ohio with a tap of the Gulf and another powerhouse front coming through New England after being in the 70s on Sunday night and Monday. Look at the enhancement of the showers and thunderstorms over New England and Cape Cod again with a powerhouse storm in Quebec slowing down and stalling out, with residual westerly winds and northwesterly winds and instability rain or mountain snow there next Monday into Tuesday. And then there's a 977 millibar low pressure system over the Great Lakes, which is kind of stalled out also. That would be a almost historic storm. We've talked about the possibility of something getting below 970. That's not below 970, but below 980 is pretty impressive. And then that kind of decays and comes slowly into New England. Next Wednesday into Thursday is day 10 now, day 10 being Thursday, the 23rd of October. And that low has weakened and it's stalled just to our north with instability. Rain is the green and quite windy and cold. And even though the high is off to our south, it's a pretty cold pattern there. And maybe some instability, snow at the tops of our mountains. And you see another sort of shiv of moisture coming out of Texas toward Ohio. That would indicate the possibility of more cyclogenesis on the east coast there as we get into next weekend. And next weekend is also, it figures, whenever there is a weather conference, it seems like the weather gets kind of zany, and it certainly has, and we'll have plenty to talk about. You're all invited, if you haven't heard, to the Southern New England Weather Conference in Milton, hosted by MC Cindy Fitzgibbon and Mr. Uccellini, the man that wrote the book on New England nor'easters, is also going to be in attendance, and we'll have plenty to talk about. So that's it for the weather and more. The birds, yesterday I went down to the beach, down to Wessagusset, watching the birds. Look at them going. And I don't have a time lapse for my web camera here or on Cape Cod. They both seem to fail. Sorry about the choppiness of this video. I closed my eyes because I memorized the map, so I didn't know that the camera had paused again, taking a beating in the rain. So yesterday's weather today, and more from yesterday. Thanks for bearing with me. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. Got so discombobulated, I don't even know how much of those rainfall amounts I showed. I want to show one more thing before the end more. How much rain did not fall in southeastern New Hampshire. Eric and Epsom saying less than a half inch. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Eric, but it's interesting that it did rain all the way up to the Canadian border there. How much did you get, Jennifer and Chris White, up near the Canadian border? More than a quarter of an inch of rain. I wonder if that has to do with the front that's coming in from the north. And I didn't check the TK rain gauge. Sorry, I don't know. I get so distracted with the cats and the dogs and the phone, iPhone camera pausing. So once it runs over an inch, every another tenth is another inch. So that would be 2 inches, 3 inches, pretty close to 4 inches. And my Tempest weather system says that I got 5.05, and it's not done yet. That's the Tempest. The temperature doesn't work on that, but the rain and the wind pretty much does. I had gusts to about 35. And tomatoes, not that many on the ground. Okay, there's one on the ground. There's some more verification. All right. That looks fine. That's going to be very tasty in a week or so. Okay. Now, and more. Yesterday's weather today. Verification. Plenty of tomatoes on the ground. I'll come get these later. And more on this Monday, 12/20. You think T-Rex will go out and probably jump 3 times? 2 and a 3 and a... Let's go. Go, Rex. Go, go, go. Keep going. You gotta go. You gotta go outside. I'm sorry, but that's where the doggy bathroom is. Yeah. Well, you take care of your business. I'm gonna go check the rain gauge, all right? So it was at about 1.3 earlier. And like my brother Kevin said on Cape Cod, at least it's coming in steady instead of deluge, just a couple of tenths per hour. All right, so we were at 1.3. And for every tenth that goes over, that's another inch. So we're now passing 2 inches of rain. There's an ant in there. Tomatoes are hanging on. Oh, hood just blew off. I'm gonna get my winter clothing on here. And rowboats on the beach here. That looks a little more windy now than it did a few hours ago. I can't focus, it won't focus. Come on, focus in there. The breakwater is taking a little bit of a beating. It's low tide right now. It's a pretty high low tide. All right, where'd T-Rex go? Where are you, T-Rex? You can't get any closer to that door, can you? All right, Rex, good job. Thanks. All right. Yeah, I know, me too. And then you just jump right up on the couch. Go ahead. Oh, you want to go out again? All right, let's go. Does your dog do this? He comes in, he wants to go out. Go ahead. What is that, Rex? It's called indecision. All right, I'm soaked. That took 2 seconds to get soaked. Really interesting local radar here. Get some convection with downpours, almost looking tropical there, from Newport, Rhode Island over to almost Ledyard, Connecticut. And then here, see this feathery edging? That's what it looks like when it snows in the wintertime, with the serious coastal enhancement there, with the strong winds hitting the land and kind of going up. So dynamic. And let's go look out the front door for the sideways rain. We're always looking out in the backyard. It's easier to take the pets out there and not worry about them, that's for sure. And then here at 2 o'clock, the look and feel of autumn. As opposed to last week, we said we had the look of autumn, but we had the feel of summer. There's the burning bush, and there's just a whipping rain. Everybody okay up there? The Smith household? The witch is hanging on at our front door. Pretty good. Any Halloween decorations blowing down the road in your neighborhood? Since going out the door this morning, I haven't even put my shoes on. It's 55 degrees. I'm trying to get some paperwork done, and that's my refuse bag right there with a cat coming out of the bag. And meanwhile, out front, not much has changed. It's just getting darker. Sideways rain continues. Jerry in Wollaston Beach says passing 5 inches. That garden is impossibly beautiful, Jerry. How do you do it? I need a closer look at your secret sauce and talent. You gotta give it a lot of love, I bet. I know. Cats just have to know what's in the bag. I don't want to get in the bag. I'm pulling out all my recycled materials. I've hired my own shredder. His name is Steve. He's shredding my important legal documents. Good job, Steve. Yeah, they don't look too shredded. Keep going. Thanks. 3.37, 0.65 yesterday. Let's go down to the beach. 4 inches sounds about right. Get a closer up of the cormorants trying to push themselves into the wind. Oh, the camera focuses on the glass. There they are. Into the wind. See if the camera will work. Into the wind. Down at the beach. It's high tide right now, 5:11. The third time since May we've had more than 4 inches of rain in a single storm, but at least this one came over 30 hours instead of in 3 or less hours, so it's much easier to handle. No flooding that I'm aware of in our house. Yay. Atlas cedar pollen catkins are done shedding pollen, and now they're all on the ground. How'd your boat fare, Andrew? Did you pull it? Some of the water doesn't go toward our house. Some of it goes down here. I don't think that the crew was here today, and Columbus Day, and I wonder if they would have worked in the crappy weather. They certainly did all last winter. A nice little waterfall here. See the drainage patterns. Out of the wind right here. Now, when it comes around from the west, though, we'll be in the wind. And the tide does not look super high. So we did avoid, I think, for the most part, coastal flooding, but I'm sure the beaches, the dunes are battered. They'll be back in action in the morning, I'm sure. Are they out there behind the house right now? And this is yesterday's weather today. They look a lot bigger up close, don't they? I don't see any boats on the beach. That's nice. Just a DL 580. My feet are sinking right here. Hello. Nice wall. You got your DX 140. And you got your Cat 725C. Milton Cat. And your beach. More rocks. Beach over here somewhere. Hopefully someone else sent me some content from the ocean. We're where the waves, Boston buoy, I think was up close to 20 feet today. Foot or two here. Breakwater out there doing a good job. Oh, you can't even hear me, can you? Flag is holding on. See if I can't get out of the wind a little bit more this way. Maybe. So there it is. I see plenty of storms around here where the water comes right up over this beach and into those holes over there. And this is not one of them, fortunately. And this is all rainwater over here. So as I'm walking with the wind, it's a little less wind noise, hopefully. And I don't think the Cape Cod cam is working. Must have taken a power hit. Got to reboot that. But I think we do have the Weymouth time lapse. So it has been raining every second today. Elevation's off of the dunes. All right, it's going into the fourth quarter of this nor'easter. Very unusual to have a storm small like that to our south. Unfortunately, the central pressure on it was not that low. That helped the storm surge. But an unusual nor'easter because it never got north of our latitude. And it did not do a blizzard loop. Just that's why we love it. It's utterly captivating. Thanks for watching. Oh, wait, we've got birds. Cormorants into the wind. Very unusual weather setup. Once in a lifetime weather happens to someone, somewhere on Earth every single day. And those of us in New England, I don't think have experienced a nor'easter like this one before. It's like snowflakes. They look fairly similar from a distance, but you look right at them, and they're very different. Hopefully tomorrow's video is a little bit different. We didn't get far today, did we? Appreciate your viewership, commentary. This weather is for the birds. Talk to you tomorrow. Well, it's going to be Wednesday, right? Tuesdays are cold and wet in the morning if you can get them. Oh, one more thing. Geese. Can't stop. Yeah, and I got slightly wet. I wore the Carhartt, but those Carhartt pants weren't made for this weather, were they? And my winter boots. We love it. Couldn't have it any other way.